The great space hero returns. Jackie cheers, as he's the first to introduce the new arrivals. Attached to each of his stiff, dragging legs are his two daughters, causing him to waddle on his approach, before giving the redhead a big mutual hug. Still feeling overwhelmed by their warm welcome, especially towards Jamie, Simone slowly rocked the old friend from side to side, and gave him a back-cracking squeeze before pulling away. "You've met SJ. Grown a bit since the last time you have seen him." She points over to the shy but tough child still hiding their face. "And this is Jamie. He does bite, but not all that hard yet." Clearing his throat, Jackie puts on a smile despite the encoding, clearly causing him to be nervous. "Welcome, the both of ya," he greets, as he extends a hand out to scratch at the back plates of SJ to comfort them, only to have his hand curiously snatched by a Minarian tail grasper. Jackie jolts in surprise at this, but manages to not reflexively yank his hand out of the child's grasp. "Holy cow. I thought that picture Chuck sent was unsettling. Poor kiddo, the brain programming is no joke," he said in genuine pity, before looking down at his two homegrown leg braces. "Alright, you two, say hi." Katie and John stare up at the purple toddler with wide eyes that express much more raw fear. "Hi," John mumbles out, while Katie seems too nervous to speak. Jamie's plumes flick at the small voice, and just after his gaze falls onto the twin Terrans, the girl's eyes start to tear up. Before any assurances can be given, the two scramble and dash away to their mother. Donna's intent to approach the Cali princess is halted, as she takes in her kids with each of her arms. "Sorry about that. Really tried to get them ready for this," Jackie apologizes. "Ain't their fault," Simone assures. "I know exposure can help a great deal with the fear response thing, but I ain't going to put your girls through anything they don't want to do," she adds. "I'm just happy he's accepted to be here at all." Jackie nods, before patting the back of the woman's shoulder. "They'll come around. Everyone will. And before you ask, don't worry about security. The local teams have been personally selected by my wonderful wife, and they are all in the loop. They heard the bad kids, they take an asteroid walk without a suit," he assures back, before guiding the redhead towards his stalled spouse. "That's right. And we've secured lodging for everyone in case if any of you would prefer to bunk somewhere that wasn't your ship," Donna says, before the twins rush to get behind her. "Appreciated," Simone replies, before she feels the Minarian toddler leap onto her back for a piggyback ride. Donna's eyes widen slightly at the closer appearance of Jamie, but otherwise seems to remain just as collected. "Also, the venue is just about ready for you two to look over and approve. I'll take you two for a tour later before everyone turns in for the night," she informs, as she pulls up a datapad to start scrolling through previewing images. "Oh, that sounds perfect. We can go right after SG and Jamie go to bed," Chuck proposes, as she leans her head against Simone. The redhead nods slightly, but a thought with sickly weight comes to mind, causing her to look towards the bay doors. "So, what's the latest on she starts to ask, before an excited voice interrupts. "Girl, you did it!" An approaching short woman squeals, with her fists up in the air. "Ellie!" Chuck bounces, as the response nearly matches the Terran's energy. "I'm so happy to see that you've already made it." The Terran gives the Callie a big embrace, picking her up and giving her a single spin, before putting her down. "My gran and I just got here yesterday. Oh man, just look at you two. Last time you two were still orbiting around each other just waiting to collide, and now... Oh my goodness," Ellie says, before fully catching sight of Jamie clinging onto Simone's shoulders, with surprising upper arm strength. "Why is he so freaking cute yet so dang terrifying?" she asks facetiously, before coming closer to Simone. Shaking her head with her lips pursed, Ellie looks the redhead up and down. And to think, I almost had this, she teases, before opening her arms up in a hug, which the smirking redhead accepts. Considering all the crazy shit I've been through since the last time you've seen me, consider a bullet dodged, Simone replies. As the two part from each other, Ellie glances up at the Terran's head fur. Love what you did with your hair. Almost didn't recognize you if it wasn't for the fact that your stature is iconically unmistakable, Ellie says. My hair? What about yours? Damn cute, Simone counters, as she takes stock of the mousy woman's grown-out curls that now nearly reach her shoulders. Ellie blushes and playfully scolds the hulking woman with an eye roll. Careful now. I didn't help set you two up for you just to steal you away, she laughs, before looking back to Chak. You are going to have to tell me everything, but first there's someone I'd like you to meet. Taking each woman by the hand, she starts to lead them away. Catch up later, Jackie? Simone asks over her shoulder. Will do. Go ahead and see everyone. Donna and I are just going to take care of the girls real quick, he responds with a smile and thumbs up. Later then, the redhead farewells, before being taken along with her kids and fiancé to Ted and a Terran in her own seat that appears to be similarly up there in years. Gran, these are the two getting married and the ones I told you about, Ellie introduces. Before a word is spoken from this lady, Simone immediately likes her simply by her killer braided mohawk and exposed full neck, shoulder and arm tattoos that all appear to have a punkish skull and bones and anti-fascist general aesthetics, with a few nude Terran-posing bodies mixed in there. In one of her ears, she had a badass set of earrings that create a semicircle of long, sharp spikes. Simone isn't sure at first as to how, but the entirety of the older woman's eyes are pitch black with little neon pink circles bordering her pupils. Well, there's the lady that broke my girl's heart, she said, in an amused, hoarse voice. But you were also the one to convince her to leave that trash job of hers, so I'll forgive you, she adds with a finishing cackle. Furrowing her brow, Simone glances at Ellie. I did? She questioned. Ellie sighed and shrugged. Kinda, sorta. I mean, the job did pay well and had great benefits, but you guys honestly gave me a little perspective on how poorly my company treated some people, so I decided to jump ship. Warned her from the start, but better now than never, her grandmother says, before standing up with only a few grunts and curses. The money don't mean shit if it's... you probably get it, the old woman rambles, as she cacks her own lower back with a pained wince. I'm Karen, by the way, but feel free to call me Jet. Not enough people alive call me that anymore, she finally introduces. Simone Thatch, this is Chak, and the two taking rides with us are SJ and Jamie, though you've probably already been told about them too. The redhead points around. Oh yeah, let me take a good look at that freaky bugger, Chet says, as she motions for Simone to turn in place. Gran, Ellie scolds in a harsh whisper, before looking at Simone and Chak. I'm so sorry. She's not trying to be insulting, that's just how she talks. She is actually really excited to meet Jamie after seeing your photos of him, I swear, she apologetically defends. Since when is freaky not a good thing? Come on, she's a colony brat, she gets it. Jet waves away. Simone lightly laughs and nods before turning 90 degrees. I sure do, she says to assure Ellie. Jamie looks over at the visually interesting older woman approaching him. His tail grasper reaches out like it did with Jamie's hand, though in this instance the woman reached her forearm up for him to grab, like someone summoning a hawk to perch. Bugger's tail got a strong grip, Jet chuckles, seemingly undeterred to get up close to look the boy over. And some nasty-looking biters. You holding up okay there, son? Jamie blinks and smiles. "Hi," he says, happy to finally meet someone more directly. Catching her a bit off guard, Jet lets out an adoring laugh. "Hi," she says back, before pitching at the boy's face with one of her hands. "Be careful with his ears. They're super sensitive to sound and touch," Simone informs him. "No worries. The little monarch you're hitching to was good with sharing info on him," Jet assures, before rustling Jamie's head as he screeches in a giggle. Peeking around the tank of a woman, Jet eyes the Wataf still wrapped around the Kelly's shoulders and hiding their face. "Quite the household you all got," she comments, before then craning her head back at the ship, where more of its crew came out with loaded crates. "Indeed. I really like your body decorations, by the way," Chuck says, as she comes up to the older woman, absolutely fascinated. "Thanks. It's overkill, I know, but I've always liked overkill. So," Jet says, before shrugging. "You put in that highlight yourself?" she asks. "Oh, no, I had it professionally done while getting my chitin deep dyed. It's very simple, but it's also my first time doing something like it," Chuck admits. "Deep dyed? So the monarch is inked?" Jet asks. "Oh, yes, along my shoulders. Would you like to see?" Chuck inquires. "Sure, if the kid doesn't mind," the woman says, pointing at SJ. Chuck nods and scritches at the Wataf's backplates. "SJ, I apologize for putting you in a position where you'd be embarrassed. That wasn't my intention. May I hold you in my arms for a moment?" she asks softly. SJ rubs their face for a moment, before pulling themselves out and allowing their Kelly mother to hold them in her lower arms. "Thank you, sweetheart," Chuck says, before pulling down her upperwear to show the tattoos. Meanwhile, those two get into deeper discussions on the topic of dyeing fur and skin. Simone addresses the old Mick, sitting in his hover chair. "It's an honor to have you pitching in, Ted," Simone says gratefully. "Hope 7 has been easy for you to work with." Ted's long facial tentacles cross in his lap.
"The boat has been more than a help. And don't sweat it, kiddo. Oh, Ted's at least got one last big event in him."
He chuckles.
It's good to live to see this day, Simone. Seeing all the kids I watch play baseball grow up into their own has truly been a gift."
Smiling a tad, somberly, Simone reaches up to take hold of Jamie's tail grasper, just in case he wants to grab at the frail elder man. "Hey, don't go talking like this is the final chapter. I have a lot of your barbecue to catch up on for all the years I missed," she jests. Finding humour in that, Ted chuckles, but then looks up with such a sincere gaze that grips the redhead's heart in a vice. His free eyes express a profound relief and an aged acceptance of complete contentment that alludes to a very real reality for him. Standard years might not be on the table for someone of his age, and as the last song in his play approaches, he finds the current melody to be ever so peaceful.
"I'm glad you're going to be okay,"
he says softly. Stuck wanting to hug him, but not possibly scare him up close with Jamie, Simone places a hand over her heart and reaches the other for the man to take. "You have my word. I will be," she vows in a whisper, as her eyes wet. "Wait! You have a puppy!" Ellie excitedly says, as she watches a bot on quad-wheeled legs walk shroom out of the ship, with her harness and leash. "And here's where you'll be staying," Donna says, as she stops at the front of a fair-sized colony residence. After lifting a keycard to the door, it parts, granting the group access. "There's 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, bathroom with separate bath. It may not be super fancy like what you may be used to, but it's close to the venue," she adds, as she leads them into the main room, which, although decent in size, acts as a den, entertainment area, and kitchen all in one. "Oh, it's lovely. Very utilitarian and cozy," Chuck chirps, not all that bothered by the humble space. Donna chuckles at the literal princess being kind with her choice of words. Well, regardless, you only have to be here for 2 nights, so get as cozy as you like, she teases with a wink, before handing over the card and a copy to Simone. Thanks for securing this for us, the redhead says, as she and Seven place down packed luggage in a corner. She then also, along with Chuck, release the 2 kids to run out and explore the space. Seven's cranium looks over the kitchen wall curiously, taking stock of what's presently available. But of course, nothing but the best for the soon-to-be weds. Speaking of which, have you 2 finally decided on what you're doing for your honeymoon? It's getting real late on that, Donna inquires. Oh, it's not quite a Cali tradition, and we very recently went on an excursion together that I say closely resembles what a couple does on one, Chuck initially says, as though to decline their intentions to have one, but then continues to say, so we've opted for the local colony tradition. I've already rented the proper vehicle. Donna raises her eye tufts and looks to Simone, who gives her a rolling of her own eye tufts as a response. Oh my, not what I'd expect from royalty, but all the power to you, Donna says, as she updates her datapad with a smirk. Which now leaves us with inspecting the venue. It's the usual space for the colony's bigger holiday events, and although those attending will be modest in number, I managed to section everything fairly effectively for the ceremony and after-party. Knowing your honeymoon intentions, I'll be sure to have the rover dock and the attached bay. May I have the renter's contact info? Of course, Chuck nods, while operating her lens. As they talk, Simone follows Room, who follows the kids throughout the rented housing unit. But she intends to explore as well. Turning into a side bathroom, she checks out the included bathtub, which was honestly very small, intending to have a single person laying in it. Continuing in, she presses down on an indicator to activate the slim mirror wall. In an instant, her brain recognizes the silhouette of a terrifyingly familiar masculine man standing at the door directly behind her. Jumping back without thinking, Simone slams into the mirror, causing it to momentarily flicker away. Oh, goodness, I'm so sorry, Donna says with her mouth covered, clearly not the individual Simone's brain indicated. Releasing a restrained sigh, Simone waves away concerns and rubs the space between her eyes. You're good. Sorry, brain really fucked up there, the redhead chuckles at herself, but her mood quickly fades as she is freshly reminded of something important to ask. Hey, Donna? So, no easy way to ask this, but what exactly happened to Sam after we left? Donna's tense shoulders drop as her own mood falters. Oh, maybe you ought to sit down, she proposes, already indicating the news is not good. She didn't escape, did she? Simone asks immediately. Raising an assuring hand, Donna shakes her head. No. Well, in a manner of speaking, I suppose you can say that. Not a week after you left, she just passed on. It seems her brain had an installed hardware failsafe that pretty much... Well, from what the medical staff told me, it wasn't pleasant. They don't believe she suffered, though. Biting her inner cheek, Simone gives a slow nod as she lets herself process how she feels about that. And her family? She finds herself asking. Donna crosses her arms, now hugging the datapad. I'm gonna be honest. They went through fucking hell. First having to see Sam in such a way, and being told of the things she was a part of. It got real bad before she died. Afterwards, the family shattered in a lot of ways. Not enough answers, no closures, and a lot of blaming shaming going around. When the union came by to recover the body, the family were offered easy relocations. None decided to stay at the colony. Simone's concerns rise. Were they verified to be Union? She questions. As verified as it gets. A lot of Union warships and confirmed government officials came by, stating that they needed Sam's body in part of their investigations against internal corruption and terrorist groups. I'm guessing you're far more knowledgeable on those specifics than I am, Donna answers. Biting her cheek even harder, Simone makes a mental note to contact Bernal soon, to be absolutely certain Sam's body was collected by the right people. She somehow rose from the dead once. Who's to say she can't again? Gotcha. Anyway, how about we go check out that venue? You refer to the same place that hosts the movie festivals and school events too, right? Simone asks, as she moves up and passes Donna. Yes. Yep, that's the very place. The other Terran replies, as she recalls their own prom experience together. But due to Sam's involvement as well, she keeps herself from bringing it up. Thought so, Simone acknowledges. Is that an issue? Donna asks, genuinely. Not at all, the redhead assures, knowing where Donna's concern comes from. There's a lot of good memories there. Can't wait to make more, she says earnestly, with a genuine smile. Oh, good. Because the immediate alternative backup plan involves a cafeteria and theatre, Donna chuckles, as she follows Simone to meet back up with Chak, to go view the venue together. Stopping in front of Thorne's quarters, Devon clenches a fist to knock, but stands frozen for almost a minute before his hand meets the door. It opens to view Thorne, sitting at a centre table, in the middle of assembling a completely custom plasma pistol project of his. This must be serious if you're coming in, the man starts to say, before a datapad is dropped in front of him, knocking some of his gun parts to the floor. When were you going to tell us? Devon demanded, rather coldly. Thorne's cybernetic cyan eye gleams down at the pad, and remotely goes over the contents. His expression firms slightly, but he bends down to pick up the parts and resumes his project. Never really intended to. Everyone's got their darker closets, Devon. You know that, he answers calmly, not even questioning Devon's ability to come across what he found. I do. But with everything that's going on, did you not think it would be relevant to share this? To Simone. What if she found out about this and that you've kept quiet about it this whole time? Devon presses. Then she'd likely not trust me nearly as much as she does. Thorne speaks plainly, as he fiddles with a small mechanism. But I didn't share it because it's my business, and only superficially related to what's going on. Not like I know much anyhow, otherwise it would be worth sharing. Then what do you know? Devon interrogates. Just about the same as what I've already shared, kid. I just ain't and never was in the loop of things like that. Just some schmuck that found himself in that position and managed to move on afterwards. You can choose to believe that or continue to keep digging, because that's the truth you're going to end up finding, the older man replies, as he begins to click things together. Look, after Red gets hitched and enjoys herself plenty, I'll tell her everything there is to know about it. Seeing that you're going to eventually drop this on her, I might as well nip it in the bud. But let her and Chak enjoy one of the best parts of their lives, before inviting in some drama. Sound peachy? He says, as he finishes assembly of his new plasma handgun. Devon can't help but to glance down at the weapon, he himself unsure if his intentions were meant to be some form of a threat or not. It's not in any way pointed at him, but Thorne's speed to aim far exceeds Devon's reaction time. She will see this eventually, but yeah, it can wait till then. I at the very least owe it to you to grant you a chance to explain yourself, he settles on saying. Appreciate it, Thorne says, before casually twirling his pistol in his cybernetic hand, and holds it out to Devon grip first. Take this to the range and see if the accuracy improve, would ya? Hesitating for a moment, Devon nods and accepts the slightly heavier than expected weapon. Anything other than this that the rest of us should know? He asks, before taking his leave. No. Except an assurance that you all know who Thorn is. I have plenty of secrets, both big and small, but I'm what you get. Haven't been dishonest about that one bit. Feel how you're gonna feel, but that's the truth that matters.